Hi, Stone Fox. It's Jason and Tiffany Maddens of the infamous Lot 4.
Infamous.
We just thought that it would be a good idea ahead of our vote at our meeting on Thursday to give you guys a quick recounting of everything that's gone on over the last...
We'll be brief, don't worry.
18 months. So first we want to, of course, say thank you to everyone that's been involved in furthering along our applications. We definitely realize that you are volunteering your time, and we just wanted to tell you that we appreciate it.
We realize how much time and effort this has been for a lot of people in the neighborhood, so we do definitely appreciate that.
But in anticipation of, the vote that's coming up, we felt that it would be beneficial to us and to you to lay out some facts and make sure that everyone's aware of the impact that this decision is going to have on us and our family, and the potential impact that it could have on Stone Fox community as well.
Yep. So we want to go through design guidelines. Obviously, that's the biggest issue here. We feel like some of you are under the impression that we knew from day one that we had to build a Virginia colonial home and or a Craftmark home, which is simply not the case. We were definitely made aware of the HOA documents. We stated that before we made the purchase of Lot 4. I don't know if you've had the pleasure of reading them. We've read them many times. They're very vague, especially regarding new construction. There's no mention of new construction anywhere in the documents, nor is the word colonial found anywhere in the documents, for what it's worth. I was going to read this little excerpt of the actual design review criteria, and it states, "There is an advantage to design standards and guidelines which provide definitive do's and don'ts with limited resort to judgment or discretion. Such specificity provides clear guidance to homeowners as to whether or not contemplated improvements will be permitted. To the extent possible, specificity has been incorporated into the design standards. However, complete specificity is neither possible nor desirable. The appropriateness and acceptability of particular improvements, particularly those of a major nature, may depend on a number of circumstances and factors which must be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. An improvement which is appropriate for one lot size and location may be inappropriate for another situation. Specific covenants are not in place to stifle individual creativity and beautification. They must be in sufficient detail as to provide the requesting homeowner and the committee guidelines as to what is approvable. However, latitude must provide for those who think outside the box and develop unique changes which nevertheless are consistent with the aesthetics and protect the values of the community, although not specifically spelled out in the design guidelines." So that's kind of an example of what was introduced to us when we purchased a lot. And after reading that and the rest of the guidelines, we felt comfortable enough to move forward, and not in a million years did we expect to be met with as much resistance as we have, obviously. We felt we created a design that was honestly compatible in a neighborhood with such large lots and so many varying home designs. I wanted to mention a few of the design changes that we have made throughout the process, because I know not everyone has been involved every step of the way. So our design began as two separate structures. That was a result of seeing all the detached structures throughout the neighborhood. We realize now that all of those are garages, but we saw two structures, and our design in our head became, we can have a detached structure, and that's what we went with. Obviously, we quickly, within our first or second submission, found out that was very much not going to be acceptable. So we went back to the drawing board with our builder and his team of architects and engineers, and figured out a way we could connect the structures. We also went to the county and had them approve what we were doing, which cost us $35,000 essentially to basically connect the two structures into one house. Just kind of running through some stuff, the lack of brick or stone was addressed. So we started by raising the brick water table, and then when more was needed, we ended up adding brick to the front of both sides of the house, which cost about $20,000. The two-house issue was a big deal at the last meeting. It was clear that the majority of residents had a big issue with this. So, and that seemed to be the main reason not to approve our design. So we went back and came up with some ideas of how we could change that perception. And our solution was to alter the roof lines. So we changed the roof lines, which caused some major interior design changes, but it made the home look more cohesive. So we went with that. We've been criticized for the home being too craftsman. And one of the major things that was doing that, we thought, was the tapered columns on the porch. So we removed the taper and made the columns more straight. The home had two front doors, which caused a big uproar. So we shifted the entire front elevation of the left side to the side of the home, which eliminated one of the front doors.
So like what he's trying to say, what our point is that throughout this process, we've made many significant and very costly changes to try to come to some form of agreement or try to conform to what it is that will make Stone Fox comfortable with our design and our new construction. And then, even after all of these changes that we've made and just ran through, our most recent application came back with 2 new items that were never brought up on the first 2 applications. And so at that point, as you can imagine, we started to think, we're getting nowhere with this.
We're just going in circles.
And we're just going in circles. And how many more things are we going to run into application after application?
Yeah.
And so, while we've been working through the process, this has continued to have a very significant impact on our family, not only financially, but also emotionally. And it's starting to take a toll. So, we just wanted to make you aware, because, if you've never done this before, like we haven't, you may not understand some of the elements that are involved, both with the project itself and then with the delays, added on top of that.
Yeah, and from a financial standpoint, which, everybody can understand, some of the things that we're dealing with because of all these delays, real estate taxes, they're due every half year, so, we have to pay those.
On land that we're not using. So
right, and it's not part of a mortgage. It's just a straight up fee every year or every half year. HOA dues, paid quarterly. They've gone up twice since we started paying them. They increased architecture and engineering fees every step of the way. Every time we make a change, it goes into the design, and that just gets right added on to the top. Adding different materials, we added the brick, we've done the breezeway, those things add up. So increased materials expenses, loss of gains on the sale of our current home. Obviously, this is the best time to sell a house. Everyone knows that, and that window is closing. And what we thought we might make, we probably won't anymore. Plus the construction loan payments that we have had to start making. With no construction happening, we're still paying, these payments. And that's just the financial stuff. It's kind of boring, but on a more personal nature, our plan, and you can jump in here if you want, but our plan for our family was for Tiffany to be able to stay home and raise our girls and our infant son, and to help me with the business. That was how we saw our lives kind of come together.
And if you can believe it, when we started this process, we had 2 children. No intention of, we were a family of 4. And it just so happened that through this process, we've become a family of 5. And our plan has always been for me to, once our restaurant was stable enough, to stay home, quit my job and stay home with our children. And moving into that house and putting that project to bed, has been part of that plan. And we have now been on hold for 18 months, and our son Bryce is now almost 7 months old. So we've been
And the
in
delay,
limbo.
the delay is that when the house is finished and we move in, it'll convert to a permanent mortgage. We can't change our financial picture until that happens. So she has to continue working full time, in her insurance job. So it's just another example of how this has put our lives on hold, literally. That pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah, and it extends to our parents too, who I know none of you have met them yet. They're just as much fun as we are, by the way. But their lives are on hold too. They're waiting to sell their home of 30 years so they can move in with us and start their retirement phase of their lives, which they also can't retire until we put this thing to bed, for the same reason as Tiffany's situation.
And I can tell you that they do not handle stress as well as we do on any level. So us talking them down from the ledge throughout this entire ordeal it's been another fun layer of the situation. But
yeah. Throughout this process, we've constantly tried to see things from your perspective. Believe it or not, we realize that this has been as difficult for a lot of you as it has been for us. Having to try and interpret the same broad guidelines and criteria that were never really meant to handle new construction. But what it comes down to is, number one, Lot 4 was always meant to have a home built on it. That's, there's a plat for it. It was intended to have a home on it. The home we've designed is a beautiful home. We've been told that by literally every person that we've shown it to, including a lot of you in the neighborhood have also said you think our design is awesome. So it's also by no means that much of a leap from the collective design, size, and structure of a lot of the existing homes in the community. We definitely don't think it
doesn't stick out like a sore thumb by any means. There's enough variance in the design within your own homes right now that we would easily fit in. I don't see anybody driving down Stone Fox Court and being like, that house is terrible.
What the hell happened up there?
Yeah. We don't see that happening.
It will certainly not hurt property values by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, it'll probably improve them based on the comps that we were given. We had to have an appraisal done based on our design, floor plan, the comps in and around the neighborhood, and it's very favorable. I mean, and we can include that in an email or something if anyone wants to take a look. And then on top of that, you'll be gaining neighbors like us who are low key and respectful. We're passionate about taking care of our property. You've seen me mowing the lawn, like I'm into that.
Yeah.
We're invested in Loudoun County. I was born and raised here. I've been here pretty much my whole life. We've been living down the street from Stonehawks for 10 years now in CRV. We're small business owners. Most importantly, we always have a good bottle of wine on hand. So,
if you get to us quick enough. No,
yeah.
But I mean, what we've been asking ourselves for the last several months, and now it's come down to this final vote. I guess we never anticipated it getting to this point, but what we've always said is what is the harm of our home being built? Who are we harming if our home is built on Lot 4? And, what harm is it going to cause the community?
Mm-hmm.
And we have not been able to come up with anything.
Yeah, I think that's the question we continue to ask ourselves every time we get another denial or, the appeal goes down in flames. Yeah. I think
if you take a step back and look at it,
yeah,
really,
that really sums it up.
Where is the harm? So just to put your mind at ease about the whole property value thing, which we feel is the most important thing, and essentially why HOAs were formed in the first place, is to protect the property values within a given community. We asked a local realtor we're familiar with and who was familiar with our area what she thought of our home design and the appraisal and the related comps as it relates to your neighborhood. And so we're going to play a little video she put together for us.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Kathy Colville with Century 21 Redwood Realty. I've been a realtor for 36 years in this area and have sold close to 3,000 homes. And I always rank in the top 1% in the whole nation. So I'm only saying this from my expertise as a professional realtor. I've seen and had the pleasure of looking at Jason and Tiffany Maddens' plans for a home there in your Stone Fox neighborhood. And I have to say, it can only enhance your values. There is no way this style home would decrease your property values in any way. It's one of the most popular styles out there right now. It is in high demand. It's selling for top dollar, and every builder in the area is offering this style home. So in my professional opinion, this would not impact your neighborhood in a negative way at all. So I hope this helps move their plans along, because they really want to live in this neighborhood and they really love their lot and want to be a part of the community.
You know, I guess basically we can't really stress enough. We put together this video because we wanted to let you know how important this vote is to our family. So
We expect the Golden Globes to be contacting us in the near future. We wanted to take this moment also to let you know that I'm throwing my hat in for the Secretary Treasury position, and not just to benefit ourselves for a vote, but we want to show that we are committed to the community, and combined with the experience of, the HOA process in depth as we've been through, also, and with my experience running a business, we feel that I'm very qualified for the role, with my support, as always. And after everyone's effort on our behalf, I feel like it's the least we can do, to step in and pull our weight for the community. So officially, we want to be included on the ballot for the Secretary Treasurer seat. So in closing, we just want to say we feel like we've worked through your process again and again. We've made change after change to come to some kind of compromise, and we hope that you recognize that. We're praying that this ends in a way that everyone can not only live with but also be happy with.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for listening to us ramble for however long this has gone on for. Hope to see y'all soon. Thanks.